And that kid is like, oh man, I'm level. They get real serious, locked in, and that's a special thing to come in here. And it's for many, it's their first time in a high pressure type environment. Other kids have been here 2 or 3 years, and now they're experienced. That's a really cool dynamic to see their growth. But then you've got busloads of their friends and all these observers coming in to see this whole thing interact with industry, and really it's so impactful because kids really just need to know what their options are, and they don't get it in that little bubble. They don't get in that bubble at school. You really just honestly got to get out of your classroom to see what your choices really are, what your options really are, and that's something that's really important to me as a kid. I just want this guy or gal, young lady, I want you to know what your options are, and
there's a bunch out there.
Just make an informed decision, and I know that if they come into construction, they're going to do great. If they go do something else, good for them.
Right.
Whatever's a good fit. That's what I want. I just don't like this predetermined outcome.
Right.
We had been pushing on kids, and we saw where that got us. Right?
Yeah,
so we're trying to do something different.
And that was kind of how I was pushed when I was in high school.
Everybody had to go to college.
It was college.
Yeah.
And I went to college. I graduated college, and whatever. That's cool and all. But I think it's great that this is an option. It's pushed out there. And I think another thing, like you just talk about construction, the construction industry as a whole, it kind of, it kind of has that dirty, don't necessarily care about your guys or whatever, your employees. But I think this is kind of turning that.
That's right.
It's changing that, because if this doesn't show that we care about our next, the next generation coming in, then I don't know what else there is.
So Zach, what are some things that y'all are doing to, expose kids that may not even think about construction? What are some things we're doing to get them in the door even?
Yeah. The most exciting thing we're doing is we're making it a part of their regular school day, where it's art, PE, music, and construction. And in Georgia, we start that in 2nd grade.
Oh, wow.
So listen, I know everybody's saying, hey, start earlier. A lot of people are now, pushing into middle school. This community of employers and nonprofits and trade associations have really been working together in Georgia to do that. We launched the first elementary construction program in Georgia in 2020. So, and this is another thing I love about our industry, just overcoming adversity.
For sure.
Right, it's the summer, COVID has hit. We were actually at this show March of 2019 when it hit. When the whole country shut down, this show was in the middle of rolling. We can get into that later, but that following year, hey, we're close on getting this. We had the curriculum done. We had an in-person model done, working with Construction Ready, and then school's about to start, and we had a commitment from one school to do it. The teaching position fell through. Okay, so teacher allocations are a big deal. That's kind of like a bottleneck in getting a trades program launched in a school. They lost the teacher allocation because the student count dropped. Right,
wow.
That's funded based off of how many students are going to be in your school. All right, and so we're like, okay, we had a commitment for the first program. We were going back and forth. We had an in-person program ready to go, and then we had to prep in like 2 weeks a fully virtual option. Right, so that adversity made us more versatile, because then we had a fully in-person, a virtual, and a hybrid. So we created solutions almost for every single scenario you could have in that very, very difficult summer leading up to it. And I'll tell you, the commitment from Construction Ready, and AGC supports these guys. When that teaching position fell through, they put their own staff member in there to teach that program the entire year. And it got it launched. You just got to get going. And then now there may be 20 elementary programs in Georgia now, and they reach about 500 kids a school, and the higher level ones, and they're here today. They're building down here on the floor out of Forsyth County.
Okay.
There's probably 1,200 kids at this school that take construction.
Wow.
And so the elementary and the earlier grades model got us out of this, hey, this is an elective only, and you got to choose to try it, to you're just going to try this out as part of your school day.
Yeah.
We went over so many kids that way, and they love exciting is getting into public education, making it part of what kids experience. From a funding standpoint, that makes sense. We put industry funds in that, philanthropic dollars and state dollars, so you really got multiple funding sources to make it work. And it's fantastic. Kids are happy, parents are happy. It's a very good thing. That's what I'm most excited about as far as the earlier outreach. outreach. And then one more is just the region competitions. You know, AGC Georgia works with Skills USA Georgia. We partner together, and we lead the region competitions for construction. And anybody can come into that. You don't have to be an AGC member, but these kids from all over the state, 8 regions. We do 8 regions in the span of about a month, and it's incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you said something earlier that's interested me, that you started out coaching football as well.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking that, anybody that plays sports, you're learning about adversity, you're learning about improvising, adapting, all that good stuff. So in my mind, I was thinking that's a really cool transition, because really teaching construction is teaching very similar skill sets.
Absolutely.
So could you talk about, maybe has that helped you at all moving into your role?
Without a doubt. It helped me. One, it helped me as a teacher running a program. People hear teacher, they think a teacher's a teacher's a teacher. But as soon as you go into career and technical education, you are running a program. You are not running a class. And for a construction teacher, I mean, you're almost running a business. You're handling the material orders. You're working with parents. Obviously, you're in a dangerous environment. You're trying to get a team dynamic and construction crews.
Yeah, a lot to manage. Yeah.
So it helped on the teacher side is, hey, run your class like it's a football program. That helped me early on. But from a student standpoint, absolutely, because it's outside of athletics that challenge you that way. I think a career tech, and especially a construction class, is one of the only places you're going to get that in your school day. And it's not even an extracurricular. It's just like, hey, we got to do some tough work, guys. We got to haul this lumber. Yeah. All right. Hey, we have nothing here. We have to work together to create something, and constantly troubleshooting and adapting, and but it's done in an environment of support.
Yeah.
It's done where, hey, you got this. I know you can do this. And then it's kids helping other kids and just handling business. And so it's a lot of good dynamics. I really like seeing that part of it.
Yeah. What a huge impact that has to have on those guys, and kind of getting that grind mentality in their head, young, and that's a big part of this industry.
I had both. If you were to ask me what were the 2 most impactful, things for me coming up in school, I played football and had a coach that challenged me and loved me, and I was in a construction class where I realized, hey, I can create something from nothing. And then the process of the finished product, right? That delayed attention to detail, delayed gratification.
No construction project person.
Absolutely not.
And so it teaches that interaction. So I think that's a really cool transition there.
Yeah. You value other people's skill sets is also what ends up happening. You build a little empathy. Kids today are very isolated with devices and whatnot, and some people say antisocial. And so working with other people becomes a challenge. I mean, employers, that's employer feedback, generally speaking, about this generation. But if you're in a trades class and, hey, we're building something together, I mean, I've worked next to people of all walks of life, and it didn't matter where they came from. When we just simply worked next to each other to do something tough or difficult, I mean, that broke down every barrier.
It's just more people are noticing what and the industry has improved. So I'm teaching the kids all that stuff, and that's more or less what that intro class is you just kind of teaching them all the kind of stuff, along with teaching them how to do a resume. They don't know how to do a resume. Teach them how to go through an interview, because they don't know how to do none of that stuff. And you just kind of starting all that stuff off, but you're just sharing that you don't have to go to college to make a living. Right. You don't have to do all that stuff like we've been preached to for the last 40 years. And like you said, I was taught that, when you made your choices in high school, and if you didn't do the college prep, you're like, well, you can go to shop class.
Yeah.
And it's not like that anymore. And one of the other things that I do in our county is we put on, it's not the same thing, but it's a similar expo that puts the trades in front of the kids' faces. It's called the Tool Expo. And the idea behind it is you're educating the kids on what's out there. They don't know that it's not like you grew up with your dad anymore. Everybody, some of them do, some of them have pretty much. But you're not always just being taught at home how to read a tape measure or whatever. So I'm just putting all these trades in front of these kids at a local level to where they can be educated early at 9th, 10th grade to start choosing those classes in high school and get them interested in it, or just networking or however they want to do it. And the success we've had out of career jobs out of it is just through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had really good success with career career jobs for seniors going right straight into the line of work. Just to share one story, I got 100, but this kid 2 years ago, 18 years old, graduated. He bought his first house when he turned 19. He's already married. They're going, and it's before he's even 21.
Good for him.
You know what I'm saying?
Good
so
for
it's
him.
just the success of, and it didn't have nothing to do with me.
Right.
But he had those opportunities put in front of him, and that's all it is.
That's the word that I kept. You're just saying everything you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I kept hearing in my mind was the opportunities are there to them at early.
Yes.
Early, and so you can make that decision early.
Yes.
And I think that is. It has to make a huge impact. It will make a huge impact, and but that's what I just keep saying in my head is like there are a lot of opportunities, and it's not just in the heavy equipment. There's a whole room of opportunities here behind us, and every trade has its own opportunities, and I mean, and it just kind of you look around and you're like, these opportunities are pretty much endless.
But like heavy equipment is kind of like I always tell my kids, it's in my blood. But you use heavy equipment in masonry.
For sure.
You use heavy equipment in electrical. Every trade uses the heavy equipment, so it's just all of the family together.
Yeah.
You know.
It's either that or a shovel. I'll choose one of them minis any day over a shovel.
Exactly.
Or a bush axe.
Anyway, inside joke about the bush axe. I have a surveying background, and I had a little incident with a bush axe one time, and Chad likes to remind me every chance he gets. So Zach earlier spoke about the young women that are taking a big interest into it. Can you speak on that?
Yes, I actually had one come through my program, graduate a couple years ago. She's in the electrical industry now, and she has made it like way off the charts.
Yeah.
She's down here somewhere. She works for Titan Electric, and she's one of their spokeswomen.
Wow.
And it's not just because she's a girl, but she's a young girl that's doing well in the trades. And so they have to showcase that just to get others interested, just because it's a proven fact.
Right.
She's doing well on her own with her work, but they're using her to
spread the word.
Yeah. I don't use, like, they're not just attracting women,
right,
but they're showing that it can be done.
No, again, you're showing the opportunities.
Exactly.
And
that's
that's what this whole thing is about here is the opportunity for the next generation. And there's plenty of them.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of opportunities.
I always tell my kids, if you can't find something to do at one of these places, then you ain't trying.
You're not.
You're not trying.
Yeah. And there's
so many opportunities.
So many opportunities and plenty of people that care, man. I keep going back to that word today. But that's what I think when I come to these. I came last year and here again this year, and that's just, they care. They care about your opportunity. They care about your future.
Well, blue collar's always been I don't know if that's a term we use in our trades, whatever, blue collar, but they're more of a family.
For sure.
You take care of your brother.
For sure.
It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It just happens. It's just there.
Yeah, well, I know at Strack, that is, we're a family-owned company, and we've been in business for 77 years now, and that is what we preach to the new guys that come in, that this is a family. Like, we are a family. I mean, there's, how many, 650 employees like that? I mean, we're getting pretty big, but we still have that family core. And
that's where the old guys want to teach the young guys all the stuff they know.
Right.
I mean, that's where it blends.
For sure.
That's the young boys that want to learn, but the young people that want to learn.
When there's guys like you who have the decades of experience, and you grew up in it, saw your dad do it, so that is endless experience that could be passed down to the next generation. And to me, like I said earlier, just learning from guys that have that endless experience, that it makes it a lot easier. It sticks. It gives you a little bit more gratification, I guess, whenever someone has passed that experience down to you.
Well, without this new generation coming, I mean, without all these kids and the trades that are exposed here, things don't work in the country. I mean, things don't get built, things don't get moved. So it's really for lack of a better, it's the foundation of of everything that we've got going on. So I think it's great that, that they have the opportunity in these programs to get into this, to know that the opportunity is there. And I know for one, just stepping back from construction for a minute, I appreciate that, that there are guys like you that are willing to do
Absolutely.
this, so that that opportunity is there for these kids.
Right.
And we're blessed to live in a state that the officials
support it for sure.
So
That's
yeah.
huge. Yeah.
I mean, this is so.
Without that, it'd be
hard.
It'd be very almost impossible. Yeah.
Because it passes. County. I mean, it's like if you can do anything, because he supports the trade, runs it free will. Out of each other.
For sure. Right. One more thing I was thinking of. So obviously the heavy equipment we've been talking about. Do you ever take your students to a working site? Is that I don't know what kind of safety that would bring up, but are y'all able to do that?
You just have to schedule it. You can't get them down in the big trains
Right.
and stuff like that. So there's certain things that they can go, they can dig,
Yeah.
they can use excavators, they can push dirt with the dozers.
Right.
They're probably not good enough to cut a grade on the street.
Well, yeah,
but
I
they
was
can
just thinking.
run it and
Yeah,
do it.
I was just thinking in the fact of just seeing it and watching the flow of a job site and seeing how the haul routes operate, how your pipe crew is installing the pipe, and I was just thinking, just being there just to see. Like I'm sure the activities will probably be kind of limited, but just being there and being amongst it and talking to the guys on the job site with the crazy experience. And I wonder, I was just curious if y'all are able to do that.
Yeah, they're really open. Companies are really open to do it.
Yeah.
We've done a couple already this year. We got a couple planned for spring. Obviously, winter is harder.
Right. Yeah,
for
that's
students.
tough.
But like our summer and early fall, like I said, we got a couple more planned out already for the spring. They love it.
I wonder if have we done anything like
We
that?
haven't, not that I'm aware of.
I don't
We've
think we
had
have.
some individuals come, but not a whole class.
I don't know. We got to talk to Aaron about that one. I think that would be a good one. And
We're close to one of your jobs.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that would
There's
be
a lot of activity out there too. There's
sure
a lot
is,
of stuff
sure
going
is.
on.
But I think that would be cool to see because, we kind of dabble in all kinds. So just for them to come see a neighborhood, and maybe I don't know how this would work, but in the different phases of the project, and see a residential site, come see a commercial site, come see a rail job that we've got going, or
A bore.
Golly, that stuff
that is.
blows my mind. Like I am always in awe every time I pull up to a job site and they're doing a bore. I'm the guy standing there in the way, like they're telling me to get out of the way, man. But that kind of stuff, I mean, I'm sure it has to help spark the interest.
Oh, yeah, and they get this, again, it's an opportunity experience they get to see early on.
For sure.
Because I didn't see some of that stuff until way later.
I didn't either. I didn't see it until I came here, and that's why whenever I see it, I'm always like standing there staring, like, man, that looks cool, man. How are they doing that?
I know.
So it's always good. It's a good, but like I say, the relationship between the companies, us, the state, us,
Sure.
everybody's so supportive.
Yeah.
In our area.
Yeah. Well, Horace, thank you so much for coming, man. I appreciate all your insight, and I even more appreciate what you're doing with the next generation and pouring that experience into them. And I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I know Strack appreciates it, and I know everyone here appreciates it. So I just want you to know that it's appreciated.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for being on with us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We're back down on another street here at Construction Ready at the Skills Challenge, state of Georgia. I've got a gentleman here by the name of Mr. John
Will Hoyt,
and you're with
Construction Ready.
Construction Ready. So John's with Construction Ready. And John, do you have any idea how many schools or people are here, like any kind of numbers?
We expect about 10,000 people total that come through here. We have a record number of competitors. There's going to be there's actually over 10,000 Skills USA members this year, which is a benchmark that they haven't been able to surpass in years past.
So 10,000
records,
right? So tell me, what are some of the highlights of this event, and what does it take? Like, how long do you guys plan for something like this?
So 2 different questions. Highlights, some of the highlights of this event for me is just being able to see the young people that never knew the opportunities that are out there. That maybe they use a tool for the first time, or they jump on a simulator for the first time, and you just see their eyes light up. That to me is the highlight for the event. How long does it take us? Well, we start at least, it's 8 months, about 8 months that we plan this. We've already been talking internally about needing to start even sooner. So it's probably going to be something we start planning as soon as this year's event is over.
Yeah, no, so kind of like a championship team, right?
Yep.
Finish up.
That's exactly
after
right.
the big game, you go right back at it.
That's right.
So, man, how do you guys pay for all this? Like, I know, like, these companies that are in here, like, how does all this happen, man? It's a World Congress Center.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's something that it's a struggle every year, really. I mean, when we calculate everything up, we spend probably close to $1 million just out of our budget to make all this happen, considering everything that's happening. And the Georgia World Congress Center is a pretty expensive place to do things. But we have a few different ways of doing it. We partner with great companies. Strack is one of them that really just has been coming in and being a huge champion and partner with us. So there's companies like that really get it, and they're on the forefront and leadership of workforce development. They understand the long-term outcomes from that. But also this past year we have been approved for a tax credit, which is really huge. It's going to be game-changing for us and for the industry. It's through the Georgia Foundation for Public Education, and basically companies can redirect up to 75% of their state income tax liability to the work that we do. And that's through, like I said, innovation and construction education through the Georgia Foundation for Public Education.
Okay, so let me, I barely made it through public school.
Yeah.
I barely made it through public school. So a company can reach out to you guys, and I'm sure you guys have a contact you can speak with.
Yep.
And so the companies can reach out to you guys, and you guys can help them walk through what they do and how they do it, so that 75% of what they would pay in their state tax,
State income tax liability,
would come to this to support an event like this and bigger, hopefully bigger.
Yep.
That's the goal. And then they get a credit on their taxes.
That's exactly right. It's a dollar for dollar tax credit.
Wow, that sounds pretty cool. So by doing that, now they're helping grow. Like, it's like rising tides raises all ships, right? And everybody's growing together.
It doesn't have to take anything out of their budget. They're already spending this money for income taxes. So they could just redirect those funds, and it helps do the work that's helping their industry.
Right. And so, do you have any goals, or does Construction Ready have any goals, like where you're headed or where you'd like to go?
Oh, yeah. Well, so you know me, so I've always got goals. But related to this event, one of our goals is we would love to be able to raise the funds to be able to take all of Hall B just for construction. And so if you know anything about the Georgia World Congress Center, Hall A is one of the smaller halls. And so Hall B is the next size up. And for us to be able to go over and fill that space with nothing but construction, and just really let the construction industry flex their muscles, spread their wings, so to speak, and come in and show everybody what they can do when there's not confinement of space and funding, I think that it would be a really, really cool thing for the state of Georgia.
Awesome. So this is the last one. I got to put you on the spot.
Okay.
So out of these, is there any that have kind of came out, have grown exponentially out of any of these events? When I say grow, I mean from students, schools, people. Is there anyone that's getting more attention now?
So competition, or just world, or
just the competition, just students coming into it and growing.
I mean, students are really gravitate towards their own something that is interesting or relevant to them in their life. So, for us, equipment is a perfect example. I think we have double the number of competitors that we had last year for the state competition. That's huge. But we have probably raised 30% in the number of teamworks competitors. So all across the board, we're seeing increases, and we're seeing other skilled trades wanting to get involved as well. So it's one of those things where across the board we're growing.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad to be a part of it. Glad to be here with you.
Glad you are.
Thank you guys for everything you do.
You.
And I'm going to let it go back up to the guys upstairs.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to continue on with the Empowered to Build podcast here at Skills USA. We've now got Kevin here with us. He is a teacher at Roswell High School. Kevin, give us a little background of who you are, what you do, the program you run at your school, and all that good stuff.
All right. Well, like you said, I'm at Roswell High School. I'm a master plumber by trade.
cool.
I owned a plumbing company, and we used to sponsor these programs, 15, 20 years ago before I went into teaching.
Right.
But now I teach at Roswell, and we teach plumbing, electrical, carpentry, masonry, and I've got several kids here competing today.
Nice. And how long have you been
Plumbing industry about 20 years.
Okay.
And now I've been teaching about 14.
Nice.
It's my 14th
Oh,
year.
wow.
So,
Oh, nice. Good for you. Yeah, we
I know
kinda,
I don't look that old.
Oh,
No,
no, you
not
don't.
at
You
all.
don't. I was
Yeah.
thinking you're about my age, man. but with Horace, and he had the same kind of experience before coming into teaching at a high school, and just speaking on the having that experience and then teaching the kids from your experience. Have you seen that make an impact with your students?
I have students now. I have some that own their own plumbing companies,
Oh, wow.
electrical companies. They're out there working, heavy equipment operators and just loving it.
Good. And then what? So is it only plumbing and electrical? Is it? I'm sorry, you mentioned it earlier, but is there heavy equipment also
We're starting that next year.
next year?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you guys have a big buy-in on that yet, or?
We have, yeah.
Huh.
Strack's been to our class 2 or 3 times,
Sure.
and we've got to use the equipment.
Nice. The simulators.
Yeah.
That's always a big hit with the high school
It
kids.
is.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a giant video game.
It's a huge video
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real time kind of
Yeah.
thing. So what other? We get back to the experience thing, and that's something that we kind of spoke about earlier, and I think that makes a big impact on learning, to me anyway. Because I spoke earlier about when I came to Strack, I had to learn from the experienced guys, and to me that makes a big difference. You're getting it from a good source kind of thing. Are you getting a good buy-in? Like also in the plumbing industry, is there a good buy-in from the female side of things too?
There is. We have quite a few females
Right.
in our class. I had one girl, Sylvia, and she was a freshman. She came to my class, and the second day, her and her mom came in, and she said, "We've got to get out of your class. My daughter's not construction. And what do we do?" And I said, "Well, I guess we go talk to the counselor." And the counselor said, "Well, we have almost 1,000 freshmen. You're going to have to take this class, and then you can take culinary or something next semester." She ended up taking it. She ended up liking it, signing up for the next year. She started a Habitat for Humanity club, and she was in the ACE program, and went to Auburn on a full scholarship for construction.
Good
Now
for her.
works for Home Depot headquarters.
Good for her.
Yeah,
Good for her.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I want to get back a little bit to kind of what Greer was talking about with the experience. So being a teacher, obviously there's got to be some classroom portion that you're doing. I'm sure there's some lecture that's involved and stuff. But can you talk about the junction between what we get as far as like the theory and then the practical application?
Yeah, we'll do, kind of like in the field where we have to go through OSHA safety classes. Every week we'll go, maybe a 10, 20-minute safety thing. They get their OSHA 10 cards, they do some stuff. And before each project, we'll go over some things, some safety, some tool use, all that stuff.
Okay. So on the safety side, I'm by trade a safety guy.
Got the safety
with
guy over
Strack,
here, yeah.
How much buy-in are you seeing from the kids if you're getting them early to actually doing the job in a safe manner, trying to, avoid the shortcuts, wear your PPE, all that kind of stuff? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for the most part, it's been pretty good. They
Yeah.
know when they're in the lab to wear their PPE, that, and other kids will keep them accountable. And I will say at Roswell, we're lucky to have 2 middle schools that feed us that have construction. So they come in there having that knowledge already and knowing to use their PPE and all that stuff.
Okay, good.
PPE is the big one, and I know, Chad, you see a lot more than I do, but on our job sites, it's always, I think we talked about it earlier. I think the big one is glasses. That seems to be the one thing that people just either forget about it or just straight up don't do it or whatever it is. But I don't know, glasses. I mean, that's your eyes.
Yeah.
That's pretty important. But I'm glad to hear that the PPE aspect is big, because that is, that's a huge part of our industry.
Yeah.
Well, it is, and we all know that PPE is the last line of defense. But at least from my viewpoint, and you can speak to this, PPE is such a small thing to do. But it's to me, it speaks of a bigger commitment to your trade. If you're willing to, think enough to wear your PPE, then it probably shows you're paying a little more attention to detail in your work.
Yeah. It makes them look a lot more professional.
Yeah.
It looks good to employers. I know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, looking professional. Yeah, goes a long way.
No. So I want to come back out. I got to jump on this because you talked about it before we came on, because I just want to hear about it. You talked about that you were the plumbing expert on a radio show. So is it kind of like a home improvement, Tim the Toolman Taylor type
it was
thing?
the Bob and Rodman show in Atlanta on Saturday mornings from 9 to 11.
Yeah. So did y'all take callers or just
we
talk
did.
about
We
stuff?
took we took callers.
Was it like people calling like their toilets were clogged kind
Pretty
of
much,
stuff?
yeah.
Like what the tricks to do that, or
Yep.
or oh wow, or like I don't know the tricks on how to plumb a house from the.
No, it was more like toilet issues.
Yeah.
My shower faucets dripping,
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
So do you tell your students that you did that?
I do. Yeah.
They think that's pretty cool.
I still have some of the tapes that I bring out.
Yeah. So you're like pretty much a celebrity then at your school.
Not really. Not really.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's a plumbing celebrity.
Yeah. So talk about your involvement here, like, or not your involvement, but how important is something like this, Skills USA, the support of like ACG, of the industry itself and of individual companies. How important is that for your program and what you're trying to accomplish?
Oh, this is great. The kids love coming out here, and they get to see all this stuff and the hands-on and just see it in the real world.
Yeah.
And a lot of these companies will come into my class and they dedicate their time and materials and work with them. So it's amazing they get to see stuff like this.
Yeah. Well, that's great, and gives them a chance to come be with other like-minded people, compete a little bit. Because I know, when I was in high school playing sports and stuff, that was an opportunity to compete, represent your school. So I'm sure they kind of get the same feeling coming somewhere like this.
They do, and we kind of treat it like a sport too. I also coach baseball. These guys get uniforms, they get T-shirts. We do a signing day at the end of the year where these guys will go to work with some of these companies.
Proud of that.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's very cool. These events have to make a big impact in this kind of, like it is Skills USA. Come show your skills. And I'm sure the guys and gals truly appreciate being out here and showing off their skills, because not everybody plays baseball and football and all that good stuff to show off their skills, but this is a good place to do it.
Yeah, a little something for everybody.
A lot of them have some really good skills.
Absolutely.
They're impressive. They've worked with their I try.
You're the master plumber, not them, right?
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Good man.
but yeah, these events and the opportunities that I feel like that are presented here are great, because that is what this is the future of our industry, of all these industries in here, not just the heavy equipment, heavy civil stuff that we do, but all of these trades out here it's all very important. And I spoke with Mike Dunham with AGC, and something that he spoke about last time I talked to him was, for every 4 that are aging out of these industries, only 1 is coming in. So that statistic has kind of always stuck with me. and that is something that I constantly think about, especially when I come to these events. Is that something that you talk to your students about the opportunity is there? There are plenty of opportunities for you in this industry to be successful and to make a living for yourself.
I do. I don't know if they listen to me all the time, but
I'm sure they do.
always going over that stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like if they know it, then if they hear it more, then it tends to.
And like I said, we have on May 5th, I believe, is signing day, and we'll have a bunch of kids going into the industry from our school, and their parents will come in and they'll get the T-shirts, and the band will put the hat on just like they're going to Alabama or something for football.
So these are actual companies that they're going to work for right out of high school?
Yeah, and they'll come in and give them their gear and set them up, and they say, he's going to Strack, and they'll put on the hat. And it's pretty amazing.
That has to be cool, not only for the young person that's doing the signing, but also the younger ones that are seeing it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that has an impact on them. I wonder if any other schools are doing stuff like that. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. It's actually Skills USA. It's a nationwide thing.
Okay.
It's a nationwide signing day.
Yeah. Okay.
So schools all over the country will be doing that.
Nice.
What percentage of your students would you say that come through the program actually wind up in the industry?
I would say maybe 20 to 30%.
Okay,
and I think
teaching them the hard work. It's something for them to come back to whenever they go and try something else and it doesn't work out, because I mean, let's face it,
hey, construction's going to be here.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So that's good for them to. I guess what I'm trying to say is to have options. It's always good to know you have options, and that you have something that, if it hits the fan, you got something to come back to, mm-hmm. and I'm sure that makes a big impact with them as well.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much for being here.
What you're doing for the industry.
Right.
We appreciate
thank you.
Yes,
thank
sir.
You. A what?
Just wrapping up the whole event. As if that was your current podcast show is over. Thanks for watching.
Okay.
And you can take that whenever you want to. So no cue from me. Have at it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So to wrap things up, again, we're here at the Skills USA. It's always a great event. This is my second year being out here. It's always good to be in the presence of the future of the industry. So in closing, I just obviously want to thank AGC, Roswell High School, East Hall High School for you guys coming and the great things that you guys are doing in your community. And thank Skills USA. I don't know if I said that or not, but anyway, I think this is a great opportunity for us to be here. It's a great opportunity for the next generation, and I'm happy to be here, happy to be a part of it, and happy that Strack has allowed us to be here
Absolutely.
To do this.
Yeah, this was great. This is my first year here, so it's really impressive to come see the kids. It's impressive to see.
Sorry, we're not live at this part anymore. So
Okay.
Can we go one more time on that technical thing happened? So from the top.
All right.
The close from the top.
Okay.
Let me say my little deal, then you wrap it up. Okay. All right. So obviously this is my first year here, and I'm so impressed with everything that I've seen, just the involvement of the kids, the involvement of the teachers, the people that support this, the involvement of the industry. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for people. So for anybody that's out there that thinks you may be interested in a construction career, for any kids out there that think you may be interested in a construction career, definitely something to check out and something really cool to be a part of.
Yes, definitely something to be cool to be a part of, and also know that everyone's here because they care. And that goes a long way. It goes a long way for me. So again, thank you, Kevin, for being here. Thank you to everyone involved here. This is great. The opportunities are endless here for the next generation, and I just think it's a great opportunity. Thank you for the Skills USA, And last but not least, thank you to Strack, man. If it
Absolutely.
wasn't for the great company that we work for, we wouldn't be doing here. We wouldn't be here investing our time and in the next generation. So, thank you.
Well done, boys.
Awesome.
All
Thank you,
right.
guys.
We appreciate it.
Thank
so,
you.
how long you been coaching baseball?